when interest rates go up, it seems to me logically it makes more sense to invest in notes. And we have guys that we buy notes from that we're getting guaranteed returns of 12% on performing notes. That it's hard to make that kind of. We were getting 20% returns on our rentals back in 2015, easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. But now it's just almost just the opposite.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Tom Rogers, has been investing in real estate since 1999. He's active across several markets and is based out of Denver, Colorado. Tom, thanks for taking the time today.
Hi, thank you for inviting me to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
It's great to have you on here. Now, I'd like to talk specifically about what good deals look like in Denver, Colorado. And I'd like to start by first saying, when we think about Denver, Colorado, is this a city where there's a lot of urban sprawl? Is Denver getting bigger?
Yeah, Denver's continuing to grow. Maybe not as fast as it was, like say 10 years ago, but it's still growing. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities in Denver and in Colorado Springs too. Um, you know,
Now,
for for
when
flipping and
when folks are looking specifically for uh, opportunities to get started investing in real estate, if you were to give your feedback and guidance to folks who may be looking at getting into investing in Denver, should they be looking at infill lots in the middle of Denver? Are there specific markets that you're particularly bullish on, maybe outside that are emerging outside of Denver? What's your feedback on folks getting in?
I would say like some like right on the outskirts of Denver proper. Denver, if you're like in downtown Denver, those I mean it's expensive, like those land, that land. And then I would say like Lakewood, it's just a little bit west, but there's a lot. I think you get more bang for your buck there. And if you're gonna be, um, say, trying to flip houses, I guess, I think that you've got a better chance there than you do in like say somewhere close to downtown Denver. Not to say that you can't make money in those places, but it's a lot of competition. And then you get to the point where you're trying to flip $1 million house. Your
Yeah.
carrying costs can get pretty expensive if you're doing hard money loans. So my thought is try to find something that's reasonable, like maybe 500,000. Um, and then that way gives you a little bit more breathing room, because you're not, unless you have your own money, but most people don't have $500,000 that are starting, you know, to do it. And so my thought is to try to find something that's not too expensive. And that way, if you have to keep it and rent it, if you can't sell it for what you want to sell it for, then you could still do that. And, that's it. But if you're buying $1 million place, unless
Yeah.
it's an apartment complex, it's going to be difficult if you can't sell it for what you think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can.
The acquisitions price, is that a 500,000 acquisition, or would that be the exit?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Well, it could be either, I guess. I mean, it depending on where how I think you can find stuff. There's a lot of wholesalers out there, um, and you just have to be careful with, with wholesalers. But that's probably the best way to to find these deals, um, right now. And I think that there's still money to be made if you do it right and you understand your cost. And it's just I think Denver proper, right on the outskirts, Denver proper, I think it's the best areas. It's the best area to do it in. It's just like Cherry Creek. Everything in Cherry Creek is like over $1 million. And
Yeah.
so so you wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't want to do it there. There are people who do that are really good at it, but it's a risk for somebody that's just starting. I would definitely say so. Don't don't spend more than the $400,000 or $500,000 on the place to begin with.
That
It's just
does seem to be the sweet spot right now for investing in real estate. That four or $500,000 mark that she mentioned. I think there's a lot of uh, lenders that are comfortable with that, and then you also have flippers. That seems to be where they operate. Once you get into that upper stratosphere, you're talking $1 million homes, more than that. Then you really have to have, unless the land itself is very expensive, you really have to have luxury finishing. And so that's a different ballgame entirely. Now you're looking at,
right.
okay, well, how long is this property going to sit? Now that the skill of the realtor could even come more into play in a deal like that. I do want to pivot a bit here, though, Tom, and ask you about the note space. I know that you're heavily involved in notes these days, and
Yeah.
really made a pivot in your business when the market was shifting. Of however many years ago, 2021 timeframe.
Right. And it's all about interest rates when it comes to notes. And we realized that in the real estate, in the single family market and multifamily market, that it was just harder and harder to make things work. And with interest rates going up, you couldn't get the same bang for your buck. And it's hard. And there's still some deals out there that could be made, but when interest rates go up, it seems to me logically it makes more sense to invest in notes. And we have guys that we buy notes from that we're getting guaranteed returns of 12% on performing notes that it's hard to make that kind of. We were getting 20% returns on our rentals back in 2015, easy. That was like shooting, fish in a barrel. But now it's just almost just the opposite. When you go from 4% to 7%, and interest rates, that's why the note space is so attractive to me, is that you can buy these notes with equity in them, and then if the person pays off the note, then you make even more money
Hmm.
because of the equity that the note has. And so to me, the note space is just there's a lot of things you can do. You can sell part of a note, like the last 20 payments, and then if somebody ends up paying it off, then you get all that back and you end up making more money. And so more than just like the 12% return or whatever you're getting on it, 10 to 12% is pretty normal, especially right now in the note space.
Walk me through that because I wasn't aware of that and I may be misunderstanding. So I want to walk through that. When someone pays off a note, let's say they had 12% interest on the note, the investor who holds the note is getting more than just the interest?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Well, yes, because when you buy a note, you buy it at a discount. And so you get all of that discount back when they pay it off. Because this for simplicity, they owe 100,000 on the note, you buy it for $80,000 because somewhere like 85,000. They pay it off, and like I said, they pay it off the next day. Well, you get that $15,000 back you get the full 100, you bought it for 85, so you make 15,000.
So are we talking about a secondary note market where, these are delinquent notes in this case, or would this
No,
be?
no, no, no. These are performing notes. Any notes that get sold because people, it wouldn't make sense to pay full price for a note. I mean, there are sites where you can buy these notes too, um, note sites that they sell these. These are different. It's not like your average. Generally, your average person like most of the big banks keep their notes. They don't sell them. So there's usually something a little bit weird about the note, that somebody either created it themselves or, you know, or there's something about it it's just a little different, right? It's hard to say what it's going to be because everyone's different.
But they're not
But
losing when they sell it, when they sell the note.
right. So they sell it to you at a discount. They say they created a note and then for whatever reason they needed to sell it and they want to buy something else. And so when they sell it, no one pays full price in the note space for the note. They don't because otherwise you're not depending on what the interest rate. I suppose if you had an interest rate on the note that was at 12% to start with, sure, then you
Hmm.
pay for the whole note. But most interest rates on notes are low, like 5%, 3%, 5%, 7%, maybe even, at the most. And so investors don't want to, they want to make at least 8 to 10% on
Right.
it. And so, when people sell them, they have to sell them at a discount or they just won't be able to sell them, and that's just a given. And so almost all notes that I've ever purchased, I've purchased at a discount.
Now, when people are buying notes, generally, how much do they know about um, the person paying the note? Right? I forget if it's called the mortgagee or the mortgagor. I think it's the mortgagee.
Well, yes, that well, so what you do is you have different types of notes. You have performing notes, then you have non-performing notes, right? And then you have sometimes they're somewhere in between. And so what you get is you get a schedule of every payment that's ever been made on that note, and it's verified. And so if they've missed like 6 months in a row, then it becomes a non-performing note, and then you get a bigger discount on the note because it's not performing. If they've only missed one or two payments or just been late a couple of times, it's still considered performing. And so and so that's what and a lot of people like non-performing notes because they get such a deep discount that they don't, they're fine going to foreclosure with it, then because then they
Right.
get the property back.
They get the property. So these would
Right.
all pretty much be first position, right? It wouldn't make as much sense to buy a second position note, would it?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yes, yeah, people do buy second notes. There's some guys that I've talked to, that's all they do,
Hmm.
because if it's a performing second position note, then it then if you get it at a good enough discount, you can get 12 to 15%, interest on it. You can make a 12 to 15% return on it. You get a higher return on when you do seconds. And so it's just about the borrower and how what you think, whether you think that they're, what their credit score is, and you get all this information. And so I haven't bought any seconds, but I've been thinking about it, and I think I probably will. After talking to this guy at this conference, that's all he does. He buys like 3 of them a month, and they're not that expensive. They're like lines of credit, or, HELOCs or whatever that people have. And a lot of times, if you look at the first and there's a bunch of equity on the first, then your risk on the second is a lot less. Now, of course, the first always gets paid off first, but if you have a house that's worth 100,000, and there's 50,000 in the notes, the first note is 50,000, and you got another note that's like 15,000. Even if the person defaulted, you'd still get completely paid out.
Yeah, I mean, those are great points why people would buy into notes versus some other asset class, which may, potentially look at more interest, but then also it's not backed by any type of underlying asset. So you have the ability
Right.
to walk into this and feel like it's almost risk free on some level. Obviously, there's risk, but you're prepared for both outcomes. Hey, the worst case scenario is we've got to foreclose on this, but we're going to be in first position. Or in the case of those folks that are second position, they understand, look, you know, if we have enough of these, there's a chance that some of these don't perform, but we're getting at such a high rate that we're factoring that into the arithmetic, the pro forma that we have. We are actually coming up on time here, though, Tom. Any new projects that you're working on, and then as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you or your team?
Yeah, I mean, you can email me at Tom at tkgllcco.com. New projects. We're getting ready to purchase another note here soon, with my partner and I. Um, with our other stuff, we're selling some of the stuff we have in Akron, Ohio. Um, we have I have 14 houses that I own there. So we're selling some of those, and then we're going to be and then using that, doing a 1031 exchange into something. So
All
we're
right.
kind of figuring that out right now. Unfortunately, you can't do 1031 exchanges into notes. I wish you could, but I'd be
Yeah.
all over that, but you can't. Um, so yeah, that's what we're doing now, and remodeling a couple of our places, um, you know, to to, uh, to make, to get more rent down in Colorado Springs. We're dealing with that right now too. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's, keeping busy.
Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thanks for your time.
I really appreciate it, Dylan. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.